All right, welcome to the fantasy draft
extended podcast.
There we go, extended podcast. Here again. Oh, thanks, Derek. Here again with
Chicken,
D-Sang,
Paul,
and Commissioner Khan. We're just going to go quickly through kind of the main positions and then people we've thought that are interesting to kind of help out for draft strategy, and people who don't want to really research before the draft. You can listen to this little podcast style thing and maybe get some quick ideas. Make everyone a little more educated, make the league a little more well-rounded, give Derek and David a chance.
Hey,
Too many digs
man.
at David. I'm slowing up, I swear. All right, so...
When did I get thrown in this mix?
No, I'm sorry, man. Without further
you left some
ado...
guys on IR last year, dude.
I did, but hey, we all know
So
that
you
I'm
deserve
turning
it.
around this year.
Okay, that's
We all
fine,
know
but
it.
you deserve 2 to 3,
I
maybe 4
pledged,
digs.
bro. Yeah, okay.
There are odds
There's
going
3
out
more
on
coming.
Derek being the first one to get kicked out of the league
And
for
I
a
love
year
it. I
for
love
playing
it.
2 buys.
Haters are my motivators.
I do want to reemphasize gambling legal in the league this year. Place bets through the league office.
Should we talk about the trading for draft picks?
Yes.
Situation
Oh,
before
thank you.
this?
that's a great point.
yeah, that's a great point.
Thanks.
Shut off your phone, Paul. Stop looking up players.
So, yeah. So we want to talk a little bit about trading for draft picks with our draft order coming out right before this podcast. We're thinking about how...
Making in-draft trades.
Yes, exactly. And so hopefully we can have everyone at least like participating in the draft from wherever you're located at the time this year, everyone by a computer. And what we're thinking is have your phone by you and maybe call each other. And then Ty, do you want to kind of explain like the idea behind the trading?
So basically, if you want to trade in draft, just make sure that you link Connor because he's the commissioner and he has to be in on these trades. And then something else important that everyone needs to know is that say I want to trade with John and I want Antonio Brown. I want his first pick. I'll offer him my 3rd and 4th round picks for Antonio Brown. But in order to make that trade liable and make it
work
valid,
with the draft,
you have
the
to trade
strategy.
you have to trade pick for pick. So I'd have to offer him, or he'd have to offer me Antonio Brown in the last draft pick, like the 16th pick, and then I'd offer him the 3rd and 4th pick in order to make that trade work.
And to extend off that a tiny bit, the way that would work is, as Ty said, he would get Antonio Brown in the 16th pick, and they would call me. They would conference call so I know both sides agree. So you do have to kind of premeditate it. If you're going to trade in the draft, you have to be there, and you have to be really present.
Honestly, it's kind of asking a lot. We're all just excited right now.
Yeah, we're just really excited. It might not even happen, but if a lot of us are going to be in the same room, it might happen there, but... Please, if you're in LA, Jack, Coop, whoever,
get together.
Just try to call. I mean, work something out. It would be awesome if it works.
Okay, honestly though, Cooper and Jack, you guys should probably get together. Just
Yeah,
knowing you guys.
make sure you guys get together so you can
together.
help each other. Please. And so anyway, to extend on what Tyler was saying, you do have to go pick for pick in order to not mess up the draft amount, and you would just tell me. And so if Tyler had given up his 3rd and 4th round pick, he would still pick in those positions, but I would know that John had told him to grab whatever player. And I would write that
It'd probably
down.
be like Rob Gronkowski.
Right.
Or,
Okay.
Josh Gordon, knowing him.
Yeah, exactly. Someone that's on the IR for a little bit. And I would write that down, and I'll switch the players on the teams after. So that's how in-draft trading would work. Okay, without further ado, let's get into some of the position players. So we're going to start with the quarterbacks, of course, the most important position. Derek, I want to start with you talking about Jimmy Garoppolo and how you think he'll be fantasy-wise in San Francisco, and maybe touch on how you think he'll do in the...
I'll let you talk about Big Ben just one little smidge.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
poke it
well,
in
I'll
there.
start out with Jimmy G. Gotta love Jimmy G. Respect the hell out of that motherfucker. But anyways, I'll go ahead and dive in here. I really think he's going to be exactly what everyone thinks he's going to be, a.k.a. a stud. You know, he did get caught with a overaged porn star the other week, so the hype's kind of hitting him.
Wow, overaged.
But,
She seemed pretty young.
well, isn't she like 35 or something?
Okay.
Well,
Anyways, but yeah, fame's kind of getting to him, but I feel like once the season starts, he'll be able to get his head straight, keep his focus on the field, and, you know, I think the receivers that they have this year on that San Francisco offense will really help him out.
Paul, question about Jimmy G, for you. Do you think that it matters? Is he going to be statistically benefiting from his play, or is he simply a winner, but it's not going to result in fantasy points? Is he just, is he 200, a game manager, I guess, of sorts, but, is it going to result in fantasy points, in your opinion? Does he have the wide receivers around him? What do you think?
It's honestly a great question, and I just go back to the point where he thinks he's just as good, if not better, than Tom Brady already at his young age. And Tom Brady's a guy that always puts up fantasy points and always has a will to win.
I don't think that really has anything to do with it. Marquise Goodwin is actually a huge factor in that offense.
Yeah. He's really fast.
He's a fast motherfucker. And
we're talking PPR, too. He likes those receptions.
He's got a good tight end, too. Who's he got? Doesn't matter. He's big and white. But Marquise Goodwin is a good receiver.
Yeah.
He's good for the long ball, and that's what Jimmy G's got.
Right. And you don't really go 6-0 without putting up some numbers. And I think we saw he's, obviously very talented.
Other than him, though, we got Tom Brady. We got Deshaun Watson in this league. A bunch of good quarterbacks coming out. Andrew Luck's coming back with a stronger offensive line. They just drafted a first-round pick, left guard.
In this preseason game tonight, I'm not going to lie, he did not look great. He was holding the ball a long time. He got sacked a couple times. It wasn't looking too good. But I do trust in Andrew Luck.
Yeah, it's preseason.
You're right.
They're just trying to save themselves from injury. Come on.
And Ty talked about Deshaun Watson. Let's touch on him, Ty.
Yep.
Why don't you extend a little bit on what do you think the ACL? What do you think? Do you think he's fine?
ACL's tough.
He put up big numbers in his first 4 games. He's got DeAndre Hopkins
honestly,
down there.
he wasn't relying on the run. He was sitting in the pocket, just making those throws. He's got Deshaun Watson, who can literally just jump and grab it with one hand.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Will Fuller obviously is good for the deep ball,
and he still has his legs if his ACL is fully healthy.
Yeah, and I think he'll be back. I think he'll be timid at first and kind of probably dumping it off, handing the ball off a lot. I'm guessing.
Right.
But I think he's still not as much of a valuable pick as he was last year necessarily, but he's still got value, and if he stays healthy, he will be very valuable at the end of the season.
Deshaun?
Yes.
You think he's not as valuable as he was last year?
Just because of the
just coming off
ACL.
an ACL injury.
Like, he's talking about the beginning of the season.
But I think he will. Like, he's a good pick,
I agree with
man.
Ty.
I think he's going to be unbelievable.
Okay.
Right,
yeah, go.
fine.
Why?
I think he's going to. I think he's
too.
fully healthy right now. Quarterbacks get over that.
You don't think
ACL
there's any
injury.
part of him, though, that, like, you're standing in the pocket, you're not a little nervous on that knee?
He's going to be timid.
We're talking, like, first 6 games, I could see him being slow. I could, but I believe, like you guys are saying, I think in the end of this season, he's going to be as good. He was
I was
electric.
looking at highlights, of him last year before
That's
he got
fair.
hurt. And
That's
dude,
fair. More game film than
I
I've
think
seen.
people forgot how good
I think
he
you're
was
right.
doing,
I think
bro.
you're right. He
A
was
classic
setting.
high-risk,
Because we hadn't seen him in
high-reward
so
player.
long.
No,
I mean,
He's going to be raw.
He was.
I just hate to say it, RG3. That's all I'm
No,
saying. Bad knee.
that is what's
Just
scary.
saying.
True,
It happens.
That's true.
All right, let's do a quick to finish up the QBs. Let's do a quick
Just
hit on
run
the
over.
rookies. Let's just do a quick hit on the rookies real quick. Oh, what do you got?
Just the Kirk Cousins and Alex Smith situation.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. We got to touch on all of it. We got to
I'm
touch
sorry.
on all of it.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I mean,
I'm taking the time. I don't know if you fuckers are listening, but we're going to talk
and if you're
about
not,
it.
skip ahead. That's fine. We're going to talk as long as we want. I just
Absolutely.
decided this. This is our thing. We're going to go
We're feeling
for it.
good.
You guys, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's start with Kirk Cousins and Alex Smith. I like that. I like that
Deer,
topic
there's a deer
a
in the
lot.
backyard.
Okay, timeout. We're
Some
at Baggins. We're gonna
motherfucking
check
deer in the backyard.
No. All right, skip it.
And
Kirk
we're back.
Cousins.
Oh, it's a deer.
Paul,
Two
shut up.
deer.
Okay, Paul, shut up. All right. And so we got Kirk Cousins moving to Minnesota. We got Alex Smith moving to Washington. What do we think? I want to start with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
Okay.
Ty, you got something to say, it looks like.
Diggs is an unreal athlete, and Adam
Okay.
Thielen has hands that are glued.
Dare we say, yes, he's white, but reliable. He's reliable.
He's reliable.
Some might say.
He does not drop the ball.
That's true.
Paul, thoughts on Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
Minnesota.
I think he's good.
All right. He's just going to
Paul has no thoughts. Okay, I'll expand on Kirk Cousins. I think a big benefactor of Kirk Cousins going to Minnesota is Kyle Rudolph at tight end. Kirk Cousins has always been in the top of the league in terms of quarterbacks and throwing to his tight ends. Granted, he used to have Jordan Reed, who's an unreal athlete.
pass attempts, honestly.
Pass attempts too. He's always looked for his tight ends. I'd also look for Dalvin Cook coming back. Dalvin Cook can catch the ball. People kind of forget that because last year obviously he went out early with the ACL. I think Dalvin Cook could have a big year and be a benefactor of Kirk Cousins as well. He's a big kind of short game guy, and then with Diggs and Thielen on the outside, those alternate third, fourth options are going to be wide open. I'm
starting to like
thinking.
Cousins.
Yeah.
He was throwing
I'm talking
a lot.
into him. I'm talking to him. You like that? I do, Kurt. I
This is
do.
the purple people eater.
Oh my God.
No, with the amount of pass attempts he had at Washington, granted it's different offensive coordinators, but he threw a lot, and he's going from no
they're
wide
looking to
receivers
throw that
to
much again
Diggs
in
and
Minnesota.
Thielen.
I mean, Case Keenum threw a lot last
Sure,
year
it
as
was
well.
just an upgrade.
So I mean, I really like Kirk Cousins there. I think he's a good, not great quarterback, but I think in terms of fantasy, he's the perfect. I don't want to go for the top guy early. Let me sink in the mid round kind of QB. So looking for him to go rounds 5 through 10.
We've talked on QBs for a little bit. There's obviously the other greats like
I think we
Aaron
got to
Rodgers
hit the
and-
rookies real quick.
Oh, yeah,
we got to hit
class,
their
for
quick
sure.
rookies. See if anyone's going to play. It's kind of interesting. Draft them kind of late. Keep them on your bench. See what's going to happen. Guarantee one of them's going to play big time. It's just about picking who. I want to start with Derek talking about Baker Mayfield. What do you think? Have you watched Hard Knocks at all?
Oh, I've been watching Hard
Can I
Knocks.
trump
I've been
that question
staying up with
possibly?
them.
Yes, you can trump that question. Hit me.
Just with being the first question, which rookie will make the quarterback will make the biggest impact on their team?
Great point.
Before we elaborate
Yep.
on all
Okay,
these
let's go.
quarterbacks.
Yep, and let's just go around the horn, starting with Derek still.
Which rookie quarterback do you think is going to make the most impact this year?
I say Baker Mayfield.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Derek goes Baker
Wow.
Mayfield. What does Paul
Big
go?
Baker guy.
Lamar Jackson.
Wait. Just let him give me one quick reason why. Hit Baker one reason.
I feel like I haven't seen a demeanor like his going into
The confidence.
Cleveland in a while. Yeah,
Oh.
they've had many quarterbacks. They've had many quarterbacks, but I haven't seen anyone like him, bro. I think he was dropped out of heaven for this specific position to just take the Browns back into action and get them to the playoffs.
I love that. All right, Paul, hit us with Lamar Jackson. What are you thinking there? You think he's overtaken Flacco? Give us a little quick Lamar Jackson pitch.
I don't know if he takes over Flacco right away, but I think if Flacco gets hurt or I think Flacco has a loose starting position. I think a few mess ups and Lamar Jackson gets put in there. And I've seen the pocket passing go great for Lamar Jackson, and he also breaks through the pocket really easily too as a quick runner. So I think he's a great dual threat quarterback.
All right, sounds good. Ty, who do you got? Rookie quarterback. What do you think?
Honestly, I wasn't thinking about it before that,
Do you want me to go real quick?
but no, I'm on.
Okay, you got it.
Top type of guy.
Go for it.
Biggest impact. We're going to talk biggest impact. I'm going to go Josh Allen. His team sucks.
Oh my
Rosen. I was
gosh,
gonna
he's
say
going from-
Josh Allen. I mean, they got AJ McCarron and who's the other guy? Nathan Peterman or Petterman. They drafted Josh Allen in the first round. If you don't start this kid, you're just a dumbass. As the Bills, I'm talking. Just throw him into the fire. See what happens.
You want week one. You want Josh Allen. You want Big Dick Allen in
Throw
week
him
one.
in there, baby!
All righty, they want Josh Allen.
I might even take him as my backup.
Oh my God, Ty's calling his shot.
But no, in all honesty,
Realistic, okay.
I think he is going to start week one. And with
I
Kelvin
love
Benjamin,
his. I hate to be the pardon my take bought in guy, but I love the big arm. I mean, I've seen it in preseason.
And
He's got a fucking huge arm.
and he was stepping up in the pocket, making throws. Like, granted, he probably didn't look the best, but he's better than fucking AJ McCarron.
That's a great point. That's a great point. All right. I'm sad to say all three of you missed so badly. It's so obvious. It's
Oh
Sam
my God.
Darnold of New York. It's so obvious. Sam Darnold will be the starter. I'm calling it by week 4. By week 4, Sam Darnold's starting for the Jets. Sam Darnold,
Week 1.
he looks like a fucking idiot. Like, the dude looks like a caveman, but man, can he play quarterback. I hate USC, but I got to admit, I think Sam Darnold's going to be a really good NFL quarterback.
Do you like Colin Cowherd?
I'm sick of
I don't even
Baker.
listen, but I do like Colin. I don't know why.
I do like Colin.
He's outrageous, but I like him. I do think Sam Darnold, I'm bought into that hype a little bit. Baker's my dude, though. Like, he's going to be the Hall of Famer in the end. Obvious choice. Brown's going to win probably
Starting in,
3-4 Super Bowls
starting in
behind
week
him.
3.
Like I said,
Baker?
bought the jersey. What?
Starting in
No,
week 3.
Baker. No, Baker's probably out until either late in the season or not till next year. They got Tyrod. He's a good quarterback. He's going to
Tyrod.
play well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing
And they don't need to play him. He doesn't need. There's no reason to throw him. They've messed up with
He can
Johnny,
learn like Jimmy G.
and Johnny's a different guy. I mean, that wasn't. I'll raise my hand. It didn't work out yet. He's on his comeback tour. It will happen. But I think Baker, they're going to handle it differently. Tyrod's a better guy. Let's move on to running backs.
Tyrod, but I'm just feeling like he's gonna get hurt.
Did you want to talk about
Remember that?
Who?
Johnny Manziel and his impact in the AFL so far?
It's the CFL, and no, I do not want to yet. Not yet.
All right, we got more positions.
Yes, we're moving on to running backs. Okay, I want to start with an MVP and a rookie. So I want to start first with, was he the MVP, Todd Gurley? Was I wrong on that? Leading rusher. Todd Gurley, offensive player of the year. He was something.
I think he was offensive player.
Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. Let's start with Todd Gurley in LA. What do we think? Sean McVay, coaching genius. I really buy into him. Jared Goff, pretty decent.
I buy into them just because I buy into Todd Gurley just because their team's so good.
Yeah, that's kind of.
He's just Jared Goff's gonna toss it around.
Defense will stop them. Like they're going to be scoring a lot because the defense is going to be stop. Yeah, I know.
Who else
Akeem Talib.
Without-
They still have it. They're going to get
Their
Aaron Donald
defense is
back. They
nice.
got
Yeah.
Dominican Sue.
Aaron Donald and Ndam.
Yeah,
Every team, the Rams might. Okay,
they got Brandon Cooks.
The Rams
Those
are
are two
raw.
big dudes
The
up
Rams
middle, man.
have a very good.
Aaron
very
Donald's
good
not
offense.
signed. He's still
don't they have
held out right
Ogletree is at linebacker?
I think they got rid of him. I don't know for sure. I don't know.
Okay,
They've
either
got
way-
amazing defense. Yeah.
Todd Gurley's gonna be good.
The Rams are a good organization, and then Todd Gurley is the cherry on top.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right. I like it. And let's talk about Saquon. So I'm gonna start this one off because I really do buy into Saquon's hype because I think he is so you've never really, I mean, he showed it with that first preseason run. The guy just has a knack for like huge plays.
Yeah.
And it's catching the ball or running the ball. It doesn't really matter. I think he's got that quality that, Hall of Fame guys have where, and I know that's really bold, let's say all pro guys have where they just kind of are always making these huge plays out of nothing. I mean, I think we've seen it in college a million times. I know it's a different league, but I truly believe he's a kind of built for the NFL guy. If he stays completely healthy, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, in my opinion. And I think last point is that they're going to throw to him a lot. I think they're going to give him a lot of short passes.
And
tons.
I don't know if this is a trend, but I don't know if everyone's noticed. When Zeke was a rookie and then Alvin Kamara and these other rookie running backs, they're coming from college, I think kind of fresh. And if these running backs are ready, like Saquon Barkley with his legs, those massive tree trunks.
And his IQ. He's
and his
like
IQ.
a really smart
That
kid.
first year, they just dominate.
Yeah.
So I think Saquon's a good look.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
he looks like an NFL running back.
Yeah,
too. Like
that's
a lot
a
of
good
those
point.
guys come in small. He looks like he's going to fit in with everyone else.
That's a great point. Okay, let's
He's
move
black.
on. Ty, I got to give you this one. Let's talk about Zeke, and before you start
Overrated.
sucking him off, let's just talk about how he just lost Zach Martin. He's never played with a real.
No, he's fine.
What do you mean he's fine? How? Wait, I thought he went down.
No, he's good.
Oh, no,
MRIs
he's-
came back
he's
all
gonna
good.
Play half-heartedly all season.
No.
All right, Jason Garrett is a master at failing,
Okay.
and Dak Prescott
All
is
right.
an overrated as they come.
I'm gonna.
Zeke is very
back
talented.
my
He's the
team
only Cowboy.
up
Okay.
right
Cowboys.
now.
Give us a
maybe
pitch.
6 games. Maybe 6
Zeke,
games
give us
this year.
Zeke and the Cowboys. Tyler, 30 seconds, go.
Cowboys just drafted Connor Williams. He's a lineman. He's going to be a first rounder, but he's a guard. We had Looney last year. He couldn't do shit, so the offensive line was kind of struggling. But now we got a new guard, and the running game looks strong. Dak Prescott, we got rid of Des Bryant. Fuck him, he sucks.
Oh,
we
yeah,
came
he
back.
was what was wrong.
We came back with Tavon Austin, Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams. We drafted a tight end. He's young, but we got a couple up. Geoff Swaim as well. Dak Prescott is a good time manager. He doesn't make those big throws, and he still does drop off a lot. I will give everyone that. But if our running game can come back strong, Dak Prescott has that play-action pass in him.
Love it. Okay, there's your Cowboy pitch from Tyler Bagustas. That's very good. Round of applause for Tyler Bagustas.
That was a really
Well
good job
done.
naming off mediocre players for a very mediocre team.
Okay, and we're going to shift with that to Paul Sheffield talking about David Johnson coming back for injury.
David Johnson is a big bust for me this year, to be
Oh,
completely
wow.
honest.
Okay, I love that. That's a hot take.
Again, I said this off the podcast, but the only other Johnson that I can think of off the top of my head is Chris Johnson. Any guy with Johnson in their last name, you should stay far away from this season. Again, another high-risk, high-reward type player, but I'm going with more of the risk side on this one.
All right, I like that. Derek, do you have anything to add with David Johnson on the Cardinals and him coming back from a big season-ending injury last year?
I'm just excited to see what the kid can do. Honestly, we saw his potential last year, so he can definitely get
last year.
Well, preseason. He got hurt preseason.
The year before that, he was leading rusher. That's what you're talking about.
That's what I meant. You know,
The
this
potential's there.
this
Yeah, you are right. Keep going.
This strain that Tyler just gave me is kind of something else. By the way, Tyler, do you want to just throw in a little note?
And
Exotic, but diner.
Adrian Peterson.
All right.
for more yards
Anyways,
than
I'm
David
excited
Johnson
to
this
see
year.
what the kid can do. He's obviously a freak, and I really expect. I got high potential for the kid.
okay, and last thing I want to talk about with the running backs before we move on to wide receivers is let's talk about the PPR effect a tiny bit. And keep in mind it's only going to be a half point. So it's not as dramatic as the typical PPR. Again, I've been talked off the ledge a couple times. I still am not totally settled, but I do acknowledge a half point won't be that bad in terms of making a difference. What do we think the effect will be? Who are some of the quick key guys? We're going to go around like we did with QBs. Give me one guy PPR wise. With one or two, give me one or two guys PPR wise you think will really benefit from the half point. Ty, what do you think?
One obvious one, Le'Veon Bell, because he's just the best. He's a
Right.
good runner, good catcher. Another one is Corey Clement from the Philadelphia Eagles. He will be
Nice.
sharing the carries, and he's a really good third down back. Great pass catcher coming out of the backfield alongside Jay Ajayi. I think.
And they
he'll
did
be
get
good.
rid of LeGarrette, so it's only the two of them
It's the
now.
two of them.
And Jay Ajayi, I got to add on.
Clement can really break one out.
Yeah,
too.
and Jay Ajayi looks slow. Like
Exactly.
I
Clement might
really
be
think
that
Clement
number one
might
at the end of the
get a lot
season.
of those carries, so that's a good sleeper there. I like that a
The
lot.
obvious Christian McCaffrey. I
Paul's
think.
going
Yeah,
to Christian. No, I'm saying Paul's going with Christian McCaffrey.
No, I think that's a very obvious. It's
Yeah,
sophomore
no, you're
season
right.
Coming on a sophomore
Yeah,
season. Yeah,
yep.
Coming on a sophomore season, I think it's he's kind of the epitome of the PPR rule. I would say he's going to have a lot of those 1 yard, 2 yard, even negative 1 yard receptions where he's going to get a point from PPR. He's probably, I would argue, the biggest benefactor of it from a running back that's going to maybe get 20 yards. Maybe 30, 40 in a good game, but he might still give you some fancy points with the PPR rule.
And you know what I love is that we've had this league now going. This is our 6th year, and I can bring back a name. This is year number 6. We finished 5 already. Yeah, it's been that long.
That's it, though?
Yeah, come on, bro.
I know. I was thinking
Got some history.
So I'm one of 5 winners.
Oh my God, you're spoiled. All right.
I'm one of 5 winners too, kind of asterisk.
No, yours does count. Joey has won our league. Anyway, what I was trying to say is I can say this and everyone will cringe with me when we think of a Christian McCaffrey comp. I dare say CJ Spiller. Ew. We all thought he was going to be an MVP candidate. Thank you, Derek. Appropriate noise. And he just falls short. That's what I think of when I think Christian McCaffrey. I expect him to have 1 or 2 breakout years. I really think he's going to be a bust in terms of a career. That's just my thoughts.
Did we hit the Saints?
Really don't. No, go for
mine's
it.
definitely
Actually, it's to Derek.
Okay. Hit the Saints. No, I'm not.
Hit the Saints.
No, I thought we were hitting.
PPR effect. Any running back you want.
Yeah. I was gonna go with. Who was I gonna go with?
got it.
I was gonna go with Melvin Gordon.
Okay.
So Melvin Gordon, he obviously, huh?
Derek, just talk.
All right. Anyways, yeah, they were whispering something over there, and it made me a little concerned. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and dive back in. So yeah, Melvin Gordon. Obviously, we saw the Chargers' offense revolved
30
around
seconds.
him about 95% of the time. We actually saw a lot of improvement from the Chargers last year, but I really think that was a lot on Melvin Gordon because he was just carrying that offense, and because we're adding these points for receptions, oh my God, he's going to be a freaking legend. Draft Melvin Gordon, I'm telling you right now.
All right. I think a lot of points. Ty likes Melvin too.
On a
All
very
right.
mediocre team.
Anyway, I think a lot of points this year could come from the New Orleans Saints backfield. And especially with Mark Ingram sitting out the first 4 games, Alvin Kamara is going to be a huge commodity early on. I honestly, off the top of my head, don't know who their third back even is that he'll be splitting with to start. But I think you can expect to see Kamara early on getting a ton of carries. And if he stays healthy and is on a roll, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ingram in kind of a reduced role, like towards the goal line, obviously the red zone, maybe third down. But I think you see Kamara getting a shit ton of the carries if he's on a roll early on. What do you got? Who are we forgetting? Hit me with it. The obvious one?
No, this is kind of just a sleeper team in general, I want to say. And I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, I
forgot
love
about
that.
Kareem Hunt.
man.
Kareem Hunt.
Mahomes.
John
Patrick Mahomes.
and Mahomes. I mean, I wanted to touch on Mahomes with quarterbacks, but kind of ran out of time. That 70-yard throw was a fucking dime. I love that.
A what?
He threw the ball 70 yards to Tyreek Hill.
Oh
my God, it was a fucking cannon.
Chiefs
Tyreek
are
Hill.
going to be dangerous.
Nah, Chiefs are going to blow it up. Because
Remember what they did
Andy
last
Reid
year?
chokes every year.
Does
Started
he?
out 6-0, wasn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
But they had Alex Smith and he's kind
The
of a
Chiefs
baller.
can
Mahomes
always
is a
be
baller.
fantasy points.
Mahomes
Chiefs,
is a baller,
Andy Reid
though.
always
Yeah.
gets his team fantasy points. That's a good point.
Kareem Hunt just worries me
Because he fell off late.
because he fell off late. He fell off mid more than late. 'Cause I think he had to come back last two games of regular season for fantasy at least. But there was I want to say a 6 or 7 week stretch where he didn't have a single touchdown. Blew up the first 3 weeks. But I'm just a little worried coming into a sophomore season if we're going to see more of those weeks 4 through 7 than we are weeks 1 through 2.
Yeah, he'll need a hunt through
Nice.
improvement
Okay.
in order to be a factor this season.
It's actually really good there. Okay, next, I think we want to move on to wide receivers. Yeah.
Should we take a quick commercial break first?
Yeah, let's do a quick commercial break and hear a quick word from our sponsors. Dun 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 dun.
Welcoming Fidus PDX. Coming to you at Multnomah Village, 7501 Southwest Capitol Highway Road, Portland, Oregon 97229, where the finest cannabis in the state of Oregon is produced and sold at a retail location. You can come into this place and get the best experience you have ever had.
Absolutely, I can. Personal experience.
We're talking private meetings. We're talking terpene profiles. We're talking cannabinoid profiles. We're talking. We ain't talking numbers here. We're talking benefits. And cannabis has benefits. So come see us at Fidus PDX. You can follow us at Fidus PDX on Instagram, Fidus Family Farms, and have a good day.
Folks, I can personally attest, Fidus Family Farms, that's where you're going to want to get your dispensary marijuana these days. They're the best in the business, cleanest product on the market.
Absolutely.
Please, when you shop, go to Fidus. Best in the business, best in the state.
Do we have
Alrighty.
some other sponsors? Bud Light, maybe?
Oh, we do. We have a sponsor today, Bud Light, Better with Friends or Dilly Dilly or whatever their phrase is now.
Yeah.
We're just bumming that. We got Corona Light and Session and Boneyard to thank for tonight's podcast.
Drink responsibly.
That is as well as Heineken, apparently. All right, and so with that, let's move on to the wide receiving corps. So what we're going to do with the wide receivers is we're going to talk about teams in general and kind of their schemes and wide receivers that can benefit. We'll try to hit some of the main guys as well, but in order to cover as many overall options as we can, we kind of want to hit teams in general. So starting with the team that has the most exposure in the offseason, let's touch a little bit on Hard Knocks and the Cleveland Browns. What do we think about the Cleveland Browns? And I want to start with Tyler on this one. I want to know what you think about the Browns in general, Josh Gordon coming back, and actually I want you to just take Josh Gordon coming back in that aspect for the Browns. What do you think
Just
about
Josh
that?
Gordon?
I want you to start with that and then comment later on the other parts.
Honestly, I haven't looked into. When is Josh Gordon coming?
He
back?
just announced,
just
so
announced
it was
yesterday.
like today, like literally
Yesterday.
moments, like
Is he coming back
yesterday.
at the beginning of the season?
Well, no, he's going to join training camp. I don't know for sure if he'll be on like Hard Knocks or if he'll kind
Okay,
of avoid that
okay.
because I think that's the point of him not being there now is to avoid the cameras. But
Yeah. I mean, wide receiver corps, keeping in mind PPR,
Right.
the half point at least.
What the fuck?
We're talking Jarvis Landry. We're talking David Njoku, Tyrod Taylor. If you looked at his past, he hasn't had, I wouldn't say a successful fantasy career.
yeah, no, that's true.
He's been dealing with, I don't know, a bad team overall with the Bills. I mean, he's going to another shitty team. I mean, they haven't won a game. Like, you have to say shitty right now.
He went.
The overall atmosphere is better. They got better players.
He went through. Speaking on Tyrod, he went through a stretch last year where he was really bad. I mean, they were losing games, and he was only putting up like 150 yards passing in general. And I think if I might be wrong, but I think Cooper Sprunk really played him strong during those weeks, and really did not benefit him in the long run.
I love
Expect to
Jarvis.
see that again this year.
Love
do you-
Jarvis. Love Josh Gordon.
What do you
And
think of Josh Gordon? So I want
he's
Derek.
playing.
I want to move to Derek to this one. So what do you think of Josh Gordon in general? Like with all his trouble with sitting out so much time, but still being, I think he's decently young still. I think he wants to be is still like late 20s,
I was
right?
gonna say like 26.
I was just 6, 7, yeah, somewhere in there. And what do you think? Do you think he's still one of the top receivers in the league? Do you think he's mid 10 to 20? Do you think he's kind of lost a lot of his prime? What do you think of Josh Gordon? And
a
he's
good
keeping in
question.
mind during 3 games last year, I think he put up like 250.
Unreal.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, they were
for sitting
throwing
out
him
so
every
much.
time, and
Yeah, I
he
mean
was
he was their
catching-
only option too, so
Yeah.
we got to keep both in mind.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I almost lost track on the amount of times that he's gotten in trouble now.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
It's just ridiculous. Like, you keep thinking that last time's going to be his last time he finally figured it out,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, something else happens. And it's just unfortunate because this man is a fucking freak, dude.
It's true.
Oh my god.
He's
I
an unreal
follow him
athlete.
on Instagram and like
What you do?
No, give us that
I
take.
like see a picture of him and like, dude, he's so fucking huge that I just like scroll
That
past
is
it
true.
right
He is
away
cut.
because
I mean,
I'm
that's
fucking
actually really
scared
true.
of him,
Oh,
bro.
wow. Derek's
Yeah.
intimidated.
Bro, that's how big he is.
Paul, you got to take on Josh Gordon, or do you want to move to Jarvis Landry?
Well, yeah, I was just going to kind of talk about the Browns core. in
Okay,
general.
go for it. Yeah.
From a fantasy perspective, it's tricky. Just because you have Josh Gordon as a great, more long ball receiver, Jarvis Landry as your good slants guy, and what's the tight end's name? I always forget his name.
David Njoku.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a really good tight end for them as well.
He's all right.
So it's tricky from a fantasy standpoint to say who's going to be the number one overall receiver. Like, I think Josh Gordon probably has the most talent. Again, high risk, high reward player. But Jarvis Landry with the PPR, I think he might average the most catches per game.
He's a beast. Jarvis is
yeah.
an absolute stud.
And then Njoku or whatever,
He's got a
he'll
nice ass receiving core.
he'll a lot of times be your touchdown guy. So again, it depends who you're drafting. Are you drafting for the PPR? Are you drafting for the yardage? Or are you drafting for the touchdown? Because those are three different options that you're going for. I think you'd take Njoku for touchdowns, Landry for catches, and Josh Gordon for yardage.
That's a great point. I think that last point was really strong. I think you hit the nail on the head with those three.
We've hit the Browns.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
I'll
we've
move on
exhausted
to
Browns.
let's go ahead and move on.
Fuck the Browns.
All right,
Hey.
I am gonna move on to the. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to hit
Below
Derek
average.
obviously first. I want you to talk about everyone except Antonio Brown
All right, well, I
in their
mean-
wide receiving core.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that we got Martavis gone, honestly, I'm kind of happy about that because it's just a nice fresh start without any of that nonsense.
He really clouded up. They have a really strong group,
Yeah.
and he really clouded that out a
Yeah,
little bit.
and
And he
now-
was great, but he
Exactly.
totally lost
yeah,
himself.
he lost himself. Some players just can't handle the hype.
Yep.
But anyways, we got this new Washington guy who's absolutely killing it this preseason. I think he already has 2 touchdowns. One that he literally just grabbed right over the cornerback. It was unbelievable.
Is he a possession guy or a speed guy?
He's a speed guy. He's a little shorter. He actually played with Rudolph at fucking where did they go? Wherever they went.
Oh,
to.
Oak State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played
OSU,
together. So
yeah.
and I've definitely seen good things out of him. He's probably going to be our number 3 guy over Eli Rogers.
So who's is Sammy Coates two? Who's two?
So well,
Am I
Juju,
forgetting some?
Juju.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
right.
gonna say-
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
I
Juju's
forgot
still
who I was. Yeah,
Juju,
okay.
Definitely.
Do you think so? Okay, that's an interesting. I want you go. Can you go a little longer on Juju? What do you think? Is he?
Juju?
He had a big year last year. I mean,
Yeah,
he
he
had
did,
a
he
breakout. I really like the way he
did.
looks.
Yeah, no, he's just really fast, and Ben's just been able to figure out how to find him. I don't know. You just got to throw a lot to Ben just because if you look back in the last few years, he just has made so many receivers just prepared for what they're going to see in the NFL. But yeah, I really like the Steelers' offense this year. And then we got AB.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go.
Well, Juju, I was going to compare similarly to Sterling Shepard on the Giants. It's one of those guys that you draft later if you can, just because if that number 1 receiver goes down, you have a really good new number 1 receiver. I think Juju's probably one of the best number 2s in the league at this point. Just like I would say Sterling Shepard for the Giants. You saw him have a big turnout last year after OBJ got hurt. So it's kind of one of those things that I see Juju being a really good later round target for a lot of these fantasy guys this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I want to touch a little bit on Antonio Brown. I think he is just an unreal talent. I think Big Ben and him have that chemistry. After they've done it 2 or 3 years in a row where they're just putting up the top yardage each year, I think AB is a really reliable pick. And I don't care if that blows my draft strategy. I think that's a really good target in order to keep the league fair. Speaking to, oh God, their picks 9 and 10. Sorry. Never mind. He'll be gone by then anyway. Let's move on to.
Should we hit a couple real quick? Should I just run through a couple?
Yeah. Go for it. Go for
Fire
it.
round.
So we're going to talk about PPR and just a couple good teams in general. The Pats, you can look at a couple guys. Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, even Chris Hogan might be a good play. But He's tough. James White's a good running back to throw in there, and Tom Brady's always spreading the ball around. The Raiders are interesting. You got Jordy Nelson and then Martavis Bryant, who came from the Steelers, as well as Amari Cooper. Those three right there are a couple studs. Those are some studs right there. You got Derek Carr, who can spread it around with John Gruden, obviously. Connor, you got any other teams in there you want to throw in for wide receivers? I mean,
I think that I do want to touch on the Seahawks really quickly because there's one guy I think that goes underrated each year. That's Doug Baldwin. I think now that Russ has no one else to throw to, and I think we've seen when Russ has no one to throw to in the past, he always goes back to Doug Baldwin. So if you need some help later, second, third, fourth round, look at Doug Baldwin. Might be a good option. Mm-hmm. Okay, so to wrap this up, the last thing I want to do is I want to go around us four one more time. I want you to just give me one last player you think is just interesting situation, someone you're watching in the preseason. Don't give away too much of your strategy, but just give me any position, defense, kicker, quarterback, receiver, running back, doesn't matter. Give me one guy you are really watching. We're going to go this way, starting with Ty. Give me one guy you're just really interested in. You can be a homer, you can be random, doesn't matter.
One guy I am really interested in, it's actually a tight end. And with Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to go Jimmy Graham.
Nice.
They lost Jordy Nelson. Also, someone, not to piggyback my key player,
Keep
but
going.
Devontae Adams is an absolute stud, and
Love
they
it.
lost Jordy. So that, losing a couple players, I mean, they got Ty Montgomery, but Devontae Adams and Jimmy Graham might go off this year in Green Bay as long as they can protect Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, nice. Derek, do you got someone for us?
Yeah, I'm going to say Robert Woods.
Nice.
The Rams.
Wow, yeah, great. Nice.
Just because, they added Cooks and obviously,
Free him up.
yeah, Woods was a fucking stud last year. And, I'm just interested to see if he's going to be able to produce the numbers he did last year with all the weapons they have on offense.
My first gut was to say Brandon Cooks. I feel like it's a little bit too much of a star just to say, so I wanted to go a little different route with defense. I think Texans defense would be kind of a fun one to maybe draft before your very last pick.
Think of an offensive player.
No, hey, we haven't talked about defense once. I think Texans have two of the best defensive ends in the league.
defense in the 16th round.
That's fine. Draft your defense in the 16th round and be 10th place in the league. I'm drafting my defense 8th round at worst. No, but seriously, I think Texans defense is a fun one to look at for this next season with Jadavon Clowney and J.J. Watt.
And now give us your offensive player.
Brandon Cooks for sure would be my offensive player.
Okay, dude.
Oh, but can I not pick Brandon Cooks?
I mean, we already had a Rams player. Go ahead.
Did we already have
Different player.
Pick up a Arizona Cardinals player.
All right, I'm done. I'm good.
Okay, so I think I want to go with Demaryius Thomas.
Oh.
I think that Case Keenum is pretty underrated, and I think Denver, although they try to run the ball, I think they're going to have to throw a lot this year. I think their defense is going to be pretty solid, which I don't like underrating because it gets you the offense of the ball a lot in good positions. Ty's holding his tongue. He hates that
I'm over
pick.
here giving him the scowl.
Okay, go, Ty.
defense and it's good, but I say it and it's just awful.
Who is their quarterback?
Case Keenum.
And you're talking to Demaryius drop the ball.
What?
Didn't he have the most
Dude.
drops last year, brother?
Oh, my God.
If
Go ahead,
anything,
go
talk
ahead.
to me
Pay
about
my
Emmanuel
pick.
Sanders. And
Are
even
you
then, Case
shitting me?
Keenum, boo.
Oh. Ty, okay, give me a wide receiver you're interested in.
One
Larry
more.
Fitzgerald.
We've
It's a horrible
slept
pick.
on the Eagles. I mean, Alshon is a big
Oh,
target.
shit, yeah.
A good pick.
Alshon Jeffrey, I mean,
Zach Ertz is a tight end too.
Zach Ertz is nice.
Is Larry Fitzgerald done now, though?
No, he's still
He has
playing.
one more year. They
No,
got Bryce
I
Butler.
know, but is he he's not going to be able to.
And then think of the
Fantasy
Cole
numbers,
Beasleys.
is he?
No
Think
one
of the
is
Julian
thinking-
Edelmans. Think of the Dan. Oh, I forgot about Danny Amendola. Actually, I wouldn't draft the Patriots wide receiver.
I guess Zach Ertz is a good one. We never even.
Okay, I'm changing my pick. I'm giving two more picks. And they're both the same type of player. Going Tyreek Hill is always kind of slept on, and Tyler always seems to have him on his team, and he's really, really good. Always seems to find the end zone. And then I'm going to go Tariq Cohen from Chicago. I think Kyle had him last year, and I think he's a guy where
More like
he's
Ryan Nall.
so dynamic that he can get the ball either way, and I think he's really solid. All right, we're running on 40 minutes now, so it's going to wrap up our fantasy football podcast for 2018. League of Ordinary Gentlemen, thank you for hanging with us.
Draft coming up.
Do
Find
a tiny
your
bit of
sleepers.
research. Find your sleepers. Have a good year.
Final thank you to Fidus PDX for the sponsor today.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievably lit.